everyone, it's Janie Lee from Savvy for Life, and if you don't know who I am, I'm an interior designer. I have been on HGTV's Design Star, and for today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to pick the perfect color for your space. I know that it can be really overwhelming when you go to your paint store or you go to your local hardware store and you're confronted with hundreds, if not thousands, of color choices. So how do you pick the right color that fits your space? Well, as a designer, for me, paint is actually the one easiest variable to change in a design. So paint is actually the very last design detail that I select. What I'll do is I'll pick the fabrics, I'll pick the furniture, I'll pick the accessories, and I'll create the overall design of the room. And then based on that, I will look at the inspiration and pick a paint color based on what I've designed. So because paint, there are so many different choices, it's the one variable that I leave right till the end because it's the one thing I know that I can easily change by selecting the right color. And we all know how cheap and inexpensive to paint a room, and it can dramatically change the look and feel of the space. For example, if you have something that is a dark color, you could create a very warm and comforting feeling in that space. If you have a lighter color, you'll have more of a bright and airy feeling. So paint is really important. You want to make sure you are spot on when selecting the right color. So first I want to talk to you is lighting. Lighting. It is one of the most important details in design. I cannot emphasize lighting enough. When I go into a space, the first thing I do is I look at the layout of the space, and then second thing I do is I look at the lighting of the space, because that will really change how I look at the space and how the design works. For example, you want to consider the natural sunlight that is in the space. So is there a lot of windows? Is it south facing? Is it west facing? Is it going to get afternoon sun, morning sun, evening sun? Think about the natural colors or natural lighting that goes into space. And then secondary is the lights that you actually have in the space, the light bulbs. You can have from compact fluorescent lighting to LED lighting to halogen lighting to incandescent lighting. All of these have a different color tone. So I cannot emphasize that when you put a halogen in one space, it looks like the walls can look like one color, and then you go in and you change it with a compact fluorescent light bulb, and that will give it a completely different color on the walls. So natural lighting and then your artificial bulbs in your light and your space are really important, and then also the time of day. So I really want to emphasize that in order to pick the right color for your space, you need to test the color. I know this is probably not what you're looking to hear, but testing is so important. Even for me as a designer, when I look at a space, I can only assume and think that this is going to be the right color, but until I actually test it on the walls and see it in the actual space and look at it in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, and even at night, the color can change dramatically. So really, I need to emphasize that you need to test the color. And what I do is I usually go pick out several different colors that I really like. You know, I'll go from anywhere from 3 to 5, 6 colors that I think will work in the space. And I'll go to my local hardware and they will be able to color match them into little test samples, such as this. So this one I got, you know, they were, I think, $3 a can, and for like $15 to $20 investment, you want to make sure that you have the right color, and you want to be able to look at it in the space at different times of the day. You want to look at it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and at night to make sure it is exactly what you're looking for. So please test. You want to put these on the walls, and you want to put them on different sides of the room. So you don't want to just put it on one part of the room, because that part of the room gets a certain amount of natural light and a certain amount of artificial light, and it hits the room at different times of the day. So it looks different in one side, but you also want to paint it on 2 or 3, if not all 4 sides or various parts of the room to make sure it is exactly the color you want. So for like a $15 or $20 investment, you can make sure that you have the exact color instead of going out and buying, a gallon or 3 gallons, which can cost you, upwards of $60 to $100 of paint. And then you open it up and you start painting, and then you realize, oh my gosh, it's nighttime and this looks like a completely different color than what I thought it was going to look. That's happened so many times. And even for me as a designer, I have a few, like my go-to colors. And there's this one color that I actually use on my flip homes, and it's the one color that I know is consistently a good medium tone of a gray and a beige, which I call a grayish. And I use it a lot, but I had this one project that I was working on, and we were selecting colors, and I knew this color would work really well. So I suggested it, we tested it, and let me tell you, it was not the right color for the space. I was really surprised because this is a color that I've used in lots of different flips, and it always worked out really well. But for this particular house, it just didn't read well. So again, even as a designer, I need to test paint colors, and I need to test them in different times of the day. So my suggestion is how to pick the right and perfect color is to test before you go ahead and make that $100 investment, before you're going and painting your entire house or several different rooms in this one color. You want to make sure that it reads the right way in your space with the right natural light and artificial light, and it looks exactly how you want it to look at different times of the day. So that's my tip. Please go ahead and invest in one of these little sample bottles. It's really not a big deal, and you'll be so thankful for it after, and you want to test it on several different walls. And when you apply it, you want to apply 2 coats on as a sample, and you want to wait for it to completely dry before you decide, because a wet paint color looks different on the wall as it does dry. So there you go, an easy way to make sure you have the perfect paint color. Go ahead and invest in a few of these and test them out and look at it at different times of the day. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel so you can continue to get more updates from me on any design tips and various ways on how to live your best and savvy and most beautiful life. Thank you again so much for watching, and have a wonderful day and stay savvy.